2008 was the year where we got the first F&B client.
I see.
F&B was a business that very, very traditional.
Of course.
There is no vertical software that's helping them.
Welcome to Frankly Speaking. Today we're joined by Gunawan, the co-founder and CEO of ESB. Very excited to have him. For those of you who are not familiar with ESB, it's the #1 restaurant tech platform in Indonesia.
Yep.
ESB is not only a POS system, it's actually an end-to-end solution for restaurants to manage operations, to optimize sales, and even to secure financing. In the world of AI, ESB also has an AI feature called All-in. All-in is an intelligent assistant to help restaurants to predict sales, to detect fraud, and definitely provide data-driven recommendation to help restaurants optimize their operations and increase their sales. In this episode, we'll explore with Gun about his childhood, about his story from being an accountant to become an entrepreneur, and what's his journey on running ESB to become as successful as today. Welcome, Gun, to our show today.
Thank you for having me, bro.
Quick question, Gun. I know you're running a tech restaurant for
Yes.
tech company for restaurant, right?
Yes, it's been 6 years.
Have you ever had the urge to open a restaurant of your own? If yes, what kind of restaurant would it be?
Well, if it is about business, since I've started more than 24 of businesses, so it is a simple answer. Yes, there's always an urge. But since I'm in the technology part, I don't think it's ethical for me to start a restaurant right now. However, I do have something in mind. Maybe F&B business that is not lifestyle, of course. Lifestyle is not my forte. It's a simple, quick F&B, grab and go, and something that is easily scalable. Those are my things that I actually had in mind. Maybe I'll open up after we exit or not. We don't know, because since ESB has been, I think we're gonna expand to Malaysia later. We're gonna expand to Vietnam, and we'll talk about US. It's a never-ending story. So I don't think my dream to own my own restaurant will become a reality soon. You know.
It's also a blessing that you always think about growth opportunities for ESB, right? So
Yeah.
You're focusing on that right now. Bring us back to your early days, Gun. So tell us about your childhood. Tell us a little bit about your family, about your education, and share with us how did it really shape you to become Gun that we see today.
Okay. Probably this is a side that not many people know. Yeah. So if you imagine in a soap opera about a family that shares one fried chicken divided by 4, and you have to split it to your family member, that was me. So we were very underprivileged, and I was practically born. Not born, yeah, but I was practically grew up in the street.
Can you maybe elaborate a little bit, explain how many siblings do you have, if you don't mind sharing? What did your parents do?
I'm the youngest of 5, so I'm the fifth one. So my dad was actually quite rich in the beginning. He inherited his business from my grandfather, but then after my grandfather passed away, and yeah, he was a happy-go-lucky guy. So when he got into a real business, he cannot handle all of the pressure, and everything just went down right after I was born. So maybe I was the unlucky child.
Don't say that.
No, but that's what I felt. But then we moved to Jakarta when I was 3, and my parents both they have to survive by they making cake and try to sell it in the wet market.
Where were you before Jakarta? Where were you born?
I was born in Rengat. it's 6 hours apart from what is the Riau's ibu kota? What?
Pekanbaru?
Oh yeah. 6 hours from Pekanbaru. It's a very small town. Born there. Unfortunately, I didn't raise there since now Rengat is well known for its palm oil. The sarang burung walet, what do you call it? Yeah, there's a lot of rich people over there, so my timing was not right. But anyway, I spent a lot of time in the street. So I learned a lot on how to survive on my own. Try to look for things that I can sell since I was in primary school. At that time I was selling, the basketball card, Dragon Ball card.
I remember.
Yeah, that was back in my days. And then in my mid school and high school, I also give tutor. I help in a computer shop. Yeah, I practically built a PC.
Oh wow.
Yeah, when I was in my mid SMP. SMP is what in English? It's
Junior high school.
yeah, junior high school. And I also give tutor. So
what was the motivation to do all that?
money. I don't have money. My parents did a bit well enough to get me into a school that most of my friends are rich. So I become the poorest in that school.
Understand.
So there's an imagination of how your friends, they can go abroad and they can enjoy the lunch at the cafeteria, they can buy things, which I couldn't.
What did you use the money for?
In the beginning, I use it just to fulfill whatever I need. Like when we spend most of our time on the street, we went to like arcade. Play games over there. So that's the earlier time. But then later, I was saving up for my study. I actually planned to go to Japan at that time. So I was saving my money since junior high school until the end of my high school.
I see. And what did you study in the university?
Now that's a very different path. In my high school, I had a friend, a Japanese. So he told me about all things about Japan, and then I tried to figure out what can I study over there. And then I learned Japanese language when I was in high school. And my teacher, I called her Sensei Maria at the time. She arranged a scholarship for me, and I got it. So the scholarship was supposed to be for hospitality. A part of the hospitality is to learn to become a chef.
I see.
Actually. So I got it. I went there in '98, but you remember, '98 was the crisis happened. So whatever I saved at that time, suddenly got discount by 80 to 90% of the value. So I was thinking that, okay, my money is not enough. So what was I supposed to do? I just asked my friends, hey, what are you guys going to study? Where are you guys going to university? And most of them said that we're gonna go for accounting. Okay, you guys go for accounting, then I'm gonna go for accounting as well. That's a very unplanned, actually. So maybe it's fate.
I understand. And then, what did you do after you graduate from university?
Well, I actually got my first and last job right before I graduate. So, when you study something that you didn't plan before, you're gonna end up in not studying seriously. But I was lucky enough that in accounting, the majors are mostly focuses in logic, math. So I got straight A's for all of those that need logic and math. But for management subject, almost all of them are C's. So I barely passed. So I got a grade at 3.01. That's barely minimum. You know?
Yes.
So when I was in my seventh semester, one of my friends asked me if I want to join him to apply to an accounting firm. He told me it was PwC. I had no idea what it was. Again, this is like the same thing when I went to college. So I told him that, okay, you go to PwC, I'm going to try. So I tried. I applied, did a couple of tests, and out of the blue, I got a call saying that, hey, you got accepted. Oh, great. Didn't have any expectation at that time. They just asked me if I can start immediately. Well, since I was in my thesis at the time, so I didn't need to go to college that much. I mean, to my university that much. And yeah, that's it. And then I got my job just like that.
And how many years did you work in PwC?
Around five. So I quit right after I helped a big project at that time when Philip Morris bought Sampurna. It was a crash project. Suddenly, the project came to PwC, and they had nobody to handle that. So I was lucky enough as a senior associate. I was given the opportunity to be in charge in make sure the value of their inventory all across Indonesia that are if the inventory were stated as it is in the balance sheet.
Understand. And then what? After that, you founded ESB, is it?
No, still far away. So at that time, I quit from PwC at 2006. It was the same year when my girlfriend, now my wife, she got tumor. She got tumor. It's a bone tumor, a very rare tumor, the doctors say. So she was lucky enough that she didn't get amputated, and it got me thinking that, you know what? If I keep on working as an accountant, and someday I got this kind of sickness, I might not be able to afford the medication. My girlfriend at that time, her father was somebody rich, and from the numbers that I heard, the amount that they spent for the medication, it was wow to me. I would never be able to afford that, so I thought that maybe I should start to go into business.
I see.
So I quit. And then the first company I started was not ESB. So it was, until today, it still exists. So it was a consulting company. We were doing tax, accounting. At that time, I was also an auditor still. So it is a business that need license. You know, for tax you need license, for auditing you need license. But then, thanks to the consulting business, I met many business people. So since then, actually, I'm talking about the ones that have connection with ESB. Yeah. So since 2008 was the year where we got the first F&B client.
I see.
At that time, I was assigned to do auditing, to review if the cost is already efficient enough, to fix their SOP, to figure out their standard costing. That's the first time I got in touch with that industry.
I understand.
And since the client that we got was considerably large F&B, so back then, from mouth-to-mouth recommendation, we're starting to get a lot of F&B clients in our consulting. So based on that, we we decided when I met with my other 3 other co-founders in 2018, then I thought that maybe we should go into a business that I already know inside out. It's F&B. And if you remember at that time, 2018, F&B was a business that very, very traditional.
Of course.
There is no vertical software that's helping them. And nobody even had a thought to see this industry. At that time, 2018, I remember Euromonitor had a data about F&B market in Indonesia. It was around 50 or 60 billion dollar. So it's quite a huge
very large.
business. But nobody even bothered to tap into this.
What was the main problem that you were trying to solve back then that you decided, okay, this is interesting, this is a big enough problem to be solved? And how did you decide to start ESB with your co-founders?
Okay. Maybe because I was already experienced opening more than 24 of businesses. So when we started ESB as a restaurant tech, we drew it on a whiteboard. So we agreed together an ecosystem of how it's going to be in the future. So we already see this from the part at the end.
Nice.
And we still stick to that even until today. So we have this idea of, if we want to go into this industry, we have to be able to change how this industry, F&B, how it works. Because F&B, like I told you before, F&B is a very traditional operated business. And most people, when they say about software, it's just about POS. And based on my experience, those business people that can afford a software that can streamline all of their operation from A to Z are the ones that are rich. They are rich enough. The business is big.
Yeah.
But as you see in the F&B landscape in Indonesia, there are a lot of F&B that stands in the middle.
Yeah.
Like those people that have 5 outlets, 10 outlets, or even I found some of them have 500 outlets, but we didn't even ever heard about their brand.
Yeah.
They're operating outside of Jakarta. So these people, these business people, they don't have the luxury to custom software, and it is not easy to custom. So they have to adapt for whatever available in the market. So like for POS, they use a certain brand. For the ERP, they're using another brand, and even for the inventory system, for the loyalty system, so they're using a lot of software, and they try to connect all of this. Can you imagine how hard it is?
Almost impossible.
Yeah. So there's a lot of manual works. It's very labor intensive, and there's a lot of mismatch.
Yeah.
Even when I was still helping directly in consulting, I had a group that is owned by one of the family of the conglomerate, where the books is not closed. The closing takes 4 to 5 months.
Wow.
Can you make any decision based on that? That's impossible. So that's why we thought that, okay, let's make something that can streamline all of this data, at least at first. So it's a step-by-step plan. First, we make a software that can handle everything for a restaurant. And then we can think about how to help this business to be more efficient.
Yeah.
Because when you want to increase their profit, there's only 2 ways, right? Either you decrease the cost or you increase the sales.
Yeah.
So the second part is how can we decrease the expenses. And then now, the third part is how we can increase the sales. So that's a step-by-step plan that we implement from 2018 until now, and hopefully until the next 2-3 decades.
Can you share with us? So during those early days, a lot of founders that I speak with always say that usually the early days are the toughest. So many challenges, especially when building 0 to 1, right? Can you share a little bit about how do you navigate those times? If you can share one of the biggest challenges you had, and how did you overcome it?
Maybe the challenges that I have is a bit different from other founders, yeah. Because I think, the way I see a business to its maturity, there's three parts: 0 to 1, 1 to 10, and 10 to 100.
Yeah.
So it's three different phases in business. For me, 0 to 1 is not hard. It's quite simple actually, because I'm the kind of guy who can execute quite fast at that 0 to 1. That's why I managed to bankrupt so many business, because the 0 to 1 part is easy. Now, the biggest challenge for me was when we were trying to make this business from the phase 1 to 10, and then now we are at the process of the 10 to 100.
Yeah.
Because practically speaking, from my experience, I never had the experience to manage a team this big. Okay, and I never had investors. You see, so back then when I do business, I just do whatever I like. Now it's different because I have the responsibility is different. It's very, very different. Because if it is my money, if I lose it, then it's my money. I can just make more, right? But this is other people's money. I have to be very responsible for that. But the biggest challenge for me is that during the time when I tried to grow this company, I was blind about marketing, about setting values for the organization. How can you recruit the best people? Because back then when I started all of my business, I didn't bother to recruit A people. I only need B people or C people, because for me, as long as the business is operating, it makes money, then I just sell it. I make profit from that, and I start another business again. So this is different. This is something that I have to grow to an infinite size.
I understand. How did you learn that? So, hiring or setting up structure or marketing. There's so many new things, right? You never touched before. How did you learn those things?
Well, come on now. You guys are very helpful on that. You see, how many of my management team were referred by Erika? So she was the one who gave me an insight, a new point of view about organization. What's the importance of culture? How we can align everybody together into one goal. Right? It's something. It's not simple, because not just me. It's also my 3 other co-founders. They never had the experience to run a company with organization with hundreds of people.
Yeah.
So we were learning by doing. But fortunately, we have our mentors, the team like Erika, like Cheryl. At that time, there was Echo, right? I also talk a lot with Madi, with Hansen. So at certain point, when I have an investor, it's a pleasure for me, but at the same time, it's also a blessing.
Okay.
Because, well, for me, you guys believe in me. You bet on me, so it means that you also have well, how can you call it? Yeah, you also have interest.
Yeah, of course.
In my business. So for me, I just pick up the phone and I ask for, hey, can you help me?
Good to hear that we contribute in a little way to help your growth. Can you share with the audience again what are the services or what are the value adds that ESB now gives to the restaurants, and how do you see it evolving in the next 5 years? You shared with me earlier about this whiteboard vision, right? Tell us about what you have today and what is remaining.
Okay. You know, since the beginning, I always against the concept of selling products.
Mm.
Okay. That's why, I mean, if we want to sell product, at that time we just make a POS and we sell it. Simple. But we choose the harder part. We create a complete ecosystem. That I remember at that time, many investors told me that it's impossible for us to create this huge product.
Mm.
So to answer your question, right now we are at the phase of helping our merchants increasing their sales. Believe it or not, we can. So we found a way on how to make decision based on data. This is something that that was not even thinkable by this F&B business owner on how you can manage your menu, manage your pricing, manage your package, and try to see the correlation between the spending capability of the surrounding of your store and try to match that. So when we started trying to do this, I was not convinced myself, but we thought that okay, we know the way. We tried, we pilot in a couple of merchants and tried to expand it to all of our merchants, and then I saw the numbers. I was surprised because we saw a basket size of a customer where previously they only spent like 100,000, and then after we implement what we did in our software, we see growth. Some of them more than 200%.
Oh, wow.
150%. So if I try to take an average, the average basket size increase is now at 67%.
Wow. I can imagine there's so much data that you have, right? You have very granular data at an outlet level, but you also have data at area level, and you probably also understand the customer profiles that's also ordering, and you match all that, and then you can give recommendations better to the customers who are ordering in each each restaurant, right?
Yep.
So it's very powerful how you utilize that.
Even our data team have a very aggressive point of view, telling me that they can predict the price of chili. And I told them, guys, hold your horses. That's still too far away. We are not in that part yet. Let's focus on what we are trying to do now.
I'm now thinking you probably can even help the government to predict inflation because you have all this data, you have direct information about raw materials, you also know the customer behavior, right? You probably can have that power or that predictive power if you want to utilize it, but don't want to go there.
Yeah, that's a long shot.
If there is a futuristic tech feature or there is a pain point right now that you think is big enough that cannot be solved by the current technology, and you can have all the resources in the world to build that tech feature for restaurants, what kind of tech that you think is missing?
Dude, you're making like as if F&B industry is a high-tech business. Actually, no. Maybe a couple of things.
Yes.
But I'm still gonna be able to answer that. So a couple of things that I want to. This is based on my opinion. Disclaimer: F&B is not. F&B is an experience business. So it still needs a lot of human touch. Maybe in China they already have a machine that can cook.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Maybe a robot that can serve.
Yes.
So for me, I think those kind of technology just a gimmick because when you talk about experience business, it means that it has to have human touch, the least. So the technology that we are looking at is more on how to ensure that our merchants, the people that do business in this industry, can sustain.
Yeah.
You know, I saw a couple of posts in Instagram saying that restaurant business is it has the highest risk, so don't go to restaurant business. But they also forget that restaurant business is very easy to open. It's a cash business, and actually, if you can manage well, it can create it can actually create to become a very good business, and you can employ many people. You can grow the business. So the biggest problem for F&B business is actually the sustainability. Right? Because you see, even up until today,
Sorry, sustainability meaning waste management or something
no,
else?
sustainability, survivability of
Oh,
the business.
survival about the profitability and
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Yes. Because most of them, they don't even know how to make decision based on data. Even the simplest thing, if you ask an F&B business people, are you sure that a certain promotion that you use, how much is the ROI, the loss? They cannot give you a clear explanation.
Yeah.
It's just something that you trial, and if I see my sales is going up a bit, okay, that's all. But it's most of the decision are made based on hunch. That's why we see so many outlets that are opening and then they close in the first year and the second year. So from my point of view, a technology should be able to support this industry that already have all these good traits, cash, easy to open, but they are very prone to bankruptcy. So this is the thing that we have to handle. This is the biggest problem that we have to solve. So if these business people, they are not literate about reading data, interpreting or doing analysis, then why don't we are the one who provide the recommendation to them? And we already started that.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Good. Maybe this is more to future founders who are probably watching this, right? A lot of people say that economy is not very well right now. Not only in Indonesia but also globally, right? What would be your advice to other entrepreneurs who are just starting out, or just in general other entrepreneurs out there, from one entrepreneur to another? Any advice, any tips that you can share so that they have higher chance of success in the business?
Wow, this is heavy, man. But this is again, disclaimer. This is my own opinion.
Of course.
And this is also from my failures. If I have to pick one, then it's going to be a clear goal. You have to have a clear goal on what you want to do with this business. I went through a lot of bankruptcy because for me at that time I didn't know my goals. I only know, okay, I want to make money. So if I want to make money, then I will look for, okay, what's the most profitable business, and I go into that. And
I see.
It is not the wisest choice because many times I go into a field that I didn't even have any experience.
So when you say always have a goal, it's not financial goal yet, something else.
No.
So what kind of goal are you referring to?
So like for ESB, for instance, at the start, we already set the goal that we have to change how this industry works.
I see.
You
I
see,
see.
that's the bigger picture. Because doing business is not for everybody.
I agree.
It is not always rainbows and butterflies through all the steps. You're gonna have times when you are pressured, when you think that, oh man, I cannot go on. And if your purpose to do business is just money, then you're gonna be easily get kicked out of the field, right? But if you already have a clear goals, then you just stick to that. To the tough times, to the good times, you still, at least you know where you're going, right? I think that's, in my opinion.
Follow-up question. Some people also ask, okay, I have a goal, but the challenge is very big. Sometimes those entrepreneurs, they get advice, just close the business and go back to become a professional or try something else. Maybe I don't mean this to be a tricky question, but how do entrepreneurs decide whether, let's say they have a goal and they have a big challenge, how do they decide when they should just continue pushing, even though the situation is so tough, or just accept the situation and do something else? How should they think about that decision?
Okay, this is gonna be back to each personality, right? Because from my point of view, entrepreneurship is about pain tolerance. How much pain can you tolerate? If you're at your limit, then I don't think it's shameful for you to stop, right? Because if I think you should go on, it doesn't mean that you should go on, right? It is based on, I mean, you are the one who's running the business. You're the one who's feeling it. So, like I said, entrepreneurship is not for everybody.
I agree.
That's why a lot of my friends, when I met in reunion, wow, okay, you are an entrepreneur, you are the CEO. And I said, no, you don't want to become an entrepreneur. You don't want to become a CEO. You're gonna know when you go to sit on that chair, and then you will start to experience on a game of how much pain can you tolerate.
I like that. I like that. It's all about pain tolerance, and I totally agree with you that no one entrepreneur should do it just because of the money, because it's just so hard to run it, and if you don't have a very clear mission, people usually just give up, and there's no anchor to hold on to, right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Gun. Any last words, any last advice to all the audience that might be watching us today?
Probably not advice, yeah, because I think there are many people that are more capable than me. But for me, if there's a chance for last message, if you're into F&B, you use ESB.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much, Gun. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us today.
Thank you so much.
you.